Oh, hold on. You guys can't see my screen. Here you go. Now can you see it? I don't know why it would have stopped sharing like that. There you go. Okay. So luckily I didn't really go anywhere. All I did is I went to sign up. So let me go back just real quick just to make sure everybody's on the same page with me. Twitter.com. Okay, look for the sign up option. It's going to be up here at either the very top, or if you found it through Google, it's going to look a little bit different. If I go to Twitter and Google, we can go right here, and you'll just come over here to the sign up link here at the bottom right. Okay, sign up, and then you'll come in and you'll put in the information we were just talking about. Okay, but that's neither here nor there for this webinar. You guys are going to be capable of creating an account. Come here, do it, get your personal account set up. Again, we're talking about Twitter more on a personal level, not so much a business level tonight, okay? All right, so I'm just going to log into one of my accounts, okay? And when I log into Twitter, I'm just going to put in my handle right here, right? We just talked about that. My username is also called my handle, so that's my handle for my personal account. Okay, and then there we go. We log in to Twitter, and it looks like this. Okay. Now, first, let me talk for just a second about why on a personal level, you would even want to have a Twitter account. Of you guys who are here live with me, that actually uses Twitter, what do you use it for? Most of you guys are like, I don't really use it. I don't have time for it. I don't really understand it. For those of you guys who do use it on a personal level, why do you use it? Does it do anything different than Facebook? It's very similar to Facebook in a lot of respects, but it's got some little differences. So here's what happens first of all when you log in. Okay, the screen's going to look like this, and you have a little profile section here, or at least I do on the top left. Okay, this is my little profile section. It's got a trending section down the left-hand side of the screen right here, and then right here across the top and down, this is called my Twitter news feed. Okay. And I can scroll down. It's a lot like Facebook. So if you guys are familiar with Facebook, you'll recognize your news feed. What's a news feed in Facebook? When you log into your Facebook account, what's a news feed, and what makes up a news feed? Okay, so it's usually comprised of friends that you have, right, and posts that they make. So anything that shows up in your Facebook news feed would come from people that you're friends with on Facebook that are posting updates on their account, right? Well, it's very similar on Twitter as well. Anything that I'm seeing here in my news feed, all of this stuff that's popping up is popping up from people who I follow. So that's the first thing. As far as the jargon is concerned, on Facebook you have friends, right? That's how you've got connections that are called friends. On Twitter you have followers and people you follow. Okay, so that's the first big distinction. Although in essence, guys, it basically means the same thing. So, for example, this is the Harvard Business Review Twitter page right here, or Twitter account, and it's showing up on my news feed. I follow Harvard Business Review, which is just like a little It's Harvard Business School's business publication. And on a personal level, I follow them because I'm interested in reading some of their updates, and they always post really interesting things about business. In this case, it looks like they just posted how to figure out your manager's communication style. And then if I click on this link right here, which I'll do, it's going to take me over to that publication, right? So Harvard Business Review, it sounds like to me, probably uses Twitter mainly as a place to distribute and to announce any new articles that they put out. Okay, which is what a lot of businesses do. And then as I scroll down, I'm following, CNN and This guy right here, this Darren Rouse, he's the pro blogger guy. He's an expert in blogging, and I like to follow his stuff because I'm kind of interested in it. So on and so forth. Market Watch. I follow this. If you've ever heard of Market Watch before, it just keeps me up to date on what's happening in the markets or what's happening in the news. CNN stuff. You guys probably recognize that guy right there. He's been in the news a whole bunch. I guess Macy's just kicked him out, all of his stuff out of the stores. Anyway, so on and so forth. So for me, on a personal level, I use Twitter a little bit. I don't use it a ton. I use it a little bit. Most of my use on Twitter is to go get news-related things or stay in touch with people that I'm interested in. Now, you might argue, well, wait a minute, that's kind of what Facebook's for, right? Well, yeah, Twitter and Facebook fill a lot of the same roles, for sure. The thing that makes Twitter unique, and some of you guys mentioned it earlier, is that there's a cap on how much content you can post when you do an update on your Twitter account, right? What's that cap, guys? I saw some of you guys mention it earlier. 140 characters, right? Now, a lot of you guys have been through our eBay training. You guys remember on an eBay title, you can use 80 characters as you're creating a title. Well, when you're on Twitter, if you want to post an update, which I could do right now, I could come up here to the very top of my screen and I could post something. Well, I would only have 140 characters to do it. And if you notice this, let me just zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can see this. This number right here, 140, is going to start counting down as I start to post. So I'm going to start writing something. Here is another Twitter post from Trevor Shipp. See, now I'm down to 92. Okay, if I keep typing here, I am a huge fan of good food, Utah Jazz, hot weather. Okay, I could keep posting and see the numbers are going down. And if I get down to 0, I can't post anymore. See, as I'm posting right here, it's turning red. Do you guys see that? And as it's turning red, that's not going to be posted. I have to delete that out and get rid of it. So that's the big thing that makes this so unique, right? You get 140 characters to write what you want to write, and that's it. Now, what do people then do with their 140 characters, right? What are some of these people doing with the amount of space that they have? Most of them are posting links to different things. And if I browse through this, you'll see that Harvard Business Review posted a title of their article and a link. This person, this is a news-related story, posted a short blurb and then a short video. You can actually post short videos onto Twitter. You can post pictures onto Twitter, right? So anyway, just so you can kind of see how I use it on a personal level. Those are some of the general uses. I mean, I really do use it more for news, for entertainment. I mean, I can follow people that I'm interested in, right? You can follow your favorite athlete, your favorite celebrities, whatever, your favorite business. You can even follow your favorite restaurant. What a lot of restaurants use Twitter to do is that they'll, if they're running sales or whatever, they'll post out that they've got a lunch special, and that anybody that's following that account will be able to see that lunch special. So it's used for advertising purposes in that respect. Anyway, so those are just some of the general uses. Am I missing anything? Is there anything that you guys who are here live that use Twitter use it for or use it to do? I've got a few other things that I want to show you that I use it to do, but I thought I'd ask you guys. Now, let me just kind of show you around the interface while I'm waiting on some answers for that. Right here, I can click on my name, and it'll take me to my profile page here, okay? So on a Twitter account, you can have a little banner that runs across the top here, okay? You can have a little profile picture, right? You can have a little a little summary about yourself or about your business. You can put a website link, which, by the way, right, there's an opportunity to put a link to your website. You should have that there. Okay, and then you've got a list here of all of your tweets. On this account, I've had it since July of 2008. I've done 653 tweets. Now hold on just one second, guys. What's a tweet? Sounds a little silly, right? But what does that mean exactly? If I send out a tweet on Twitter, what am I even talking about? Yeah, it's a post, right? It's their unique way of calling what you're writing or defining what you're writing. It's a tweet, okay? So I've done that many updates and posts, 653. Now I'm also following 40 people, right? And if I click on following, you can see on my account who I'm actually following here. Okay, I could scroll down and I follow a bunch of random people, between sports people and business people, and right. I follow my favorite NFL team, and I follow some reporters and some news agencies and some internet marketers, and right. These are all things that are interesting to me, and so whenever I log into Twitter, it's great because I'm updated with stuff that I'm interested in. Right. So I'll just keep scrolling down. There's Mark. I follow Mark Cuban and CNN and anyway, so on and so forth. Okay. And then I can come up and I can see who's following me. If I click on followers, I have 423, and these are people that if I were to ever write something in Twitter, these are people that could potentially see it. Now I say potentially, guys, because now I may have 423 followers, but let me ask you a question. And yes, Robert, the 49ers, that's definitely my NFL team, who, by the way, probably aren't going to have a very good year this year, but that's neither here nor there. 423 followers. If I post something right now, how many of those 423 followers are going to see my post? All of them? Like, is it guaranteed? Maybe they all do at some point. What do you guys think? And I agree, Kirk. We did mess up. I loved Harbaugh. Maybe Laura, you say maybe 10. Laura, why do you say maybe 10? That's a horrible number, right? Like 3% of my followers you think will see it? Well, because here's how it works, right? Like let me go back to my news feed on my homepage here. Okay, so let's take a look at this one, for example. So this guy Darren right here, he's an expert in blogging. Okay, so I follow him. Well, he posted this. It says, in today's podcast, I share 11 ways to drive traffic to your blog. Listen in at, and then he posts a link with a picture here. Okay, well, he did this 6 minutes ago. If I don't log into my Twitter account for a while, like let's say I don't log in until tomorrow, this is going to get buried by other new updates, right? Updates that are coming in. This person, Dana Jacobson, posted 5 minutes ago, and that post ends up on top of his. So in other words, over time, as people that I follow continue to post content, this content is going to get pushed down the page and potentially never ever seen, right? Like let me scroll all the way down the page here a little bit, and you'll see what I mean. Like all this stuff, all the way down at the bottom of the page here, this was posted 2 hours ago from MarketWatch right here. This little labor force participation rate graph. Well, look how far down it is. Like I'm probably not going to scroll all the way through all of this. When I log into Twitter, I scroll through the first few things that I see, and then that's it. So I agree, Laura. Like even though I have 423 people that follow me on Twitter, those people are people that have elected to see my updates that I make. It doesn't mean that whenever I do a Twitter post that all 423 people actually see it, right? And that's true in Facebook too, right? If you're on Facebook and you haven't logged in for 3 or 4 days because you were out on vacation, you didn't have access to your phone or your computer, it's not like you're going to go back and look through every single thing that you missed, right? Same with Twitter. So even though somebody has tons and tons and tons of followers, it doesn't necessarily mean their content is reaching everybody. It's usually a good sign, and really, if you're trying to promote a business of some sort, you want to get as many followers as you can, but it's not necessarily the be all and end all, right? Okay, good. So let's go back to my profile page here for just a second. So just based on what we've talked about so far, guys, what would you say? What are some of the reasons why a typical person might be on Twitter? An average Joe, like you and me. Why would we be on Twitter? Yeah, for fun, for entertainment, right? Maybe out of some boredom. I think that's true, Laura. I'll hop on if I want to entertain myself for a sec. Because for me, it's cool because if I'm following only things that I'm interested in and only people that I'm interested in, if I've got 5 minutes to kill here and there, it's a lot like jumping onto Facebook for 5 minutes. Only instead, the people I follow on Twitter it's a little more news related, or it's not so much because most of my friends, most of the people, my friends and family that I care about, they're not on Twitter posting things. Not necessarily. Some of them are. To rant, yeah, it's true. You can kind of say what you want, right? Yeah, I agree with that. Susan says Facebook becomes frustrating because I end up with a lot of stuff that I'm not interested in, and I feel a little like that on Twitter. Um, like, and I did that today. I unfollowed a bunch of things that I used to follow before because people get on and they post like crazy, all sorts of garbage. So for example, I was following a blogger in the personal finance space because that's where one of my blogs is. And this person, no kidding, would tweet probably 100 times a day. And every time they would do a tweet, they would be like promoting something about their website or their blog or something. And I got so tired of it that of course I unfollowed them because they would show up all over the place in my news feed, right? You guys have all probably seen that with Facebook a little bit. Those people that dominate your Facebook feeds with game requests or with just stupid articles, or they want to get all political, so they're constantly posting political garbage, whatever it is. It's enough to drive you crazy. And so what do? On Facebook? You either unfriend them or ignore them. On Twitter, you can unfollow something so you don't have to see it, right? So it's the thing about Twitter that you'll find is if you were to survey 100 different people that use it, 100 different people will tell you they use it for different things, right? Like for me, on a personal level, I use it just for a little bit of entertainment, and and it is kind of fun to hop on there every once in a while. And in a real way, it's a way for you to connect directly with people or organizations that you couldn't otherwise connect with. Like I was reading an article earlier today that said there's a guy who travels quite a bit just for work, and he says whenever he's running late to a flight, so he flies quite a bit. So and he flies, I think it was JetBlue, I can't remember, but anyway, he flies JetBlue, and if he's running late, he says he gets onto his Twitter account and he sends a tweet to JetBlue and tells them that he's running late and to hold the plane, and they'll actually do it, right? Like JetBlue manages this Twitter account and literally contacted his plane, and they held it for a few minutes for him because he sent him a tweet, right? So it's like there's not too many other forums in the world that would allow you to directly connect with somebody like that. Another example is there was a really prominent finance person that does a financial show on CNN. And I got on one day. I was just watching the show, and every once in a while you'll see, if you're watching, anything for that matter, a sporting event or you're sitting down, you're watching the Oscars, that they'll have a hashtag, right? They'll have a hashtag Oscars 2015 or a hashtag, U.S. women's soccer or U.S. versus Japan or whatever it is. And that enables you to actually join the conversation because you can hop onto Twitter and look for the hashtag. So, for example, what's going on tonight? Is there anything interesting happening tonight in the world of sports or news or whatever that we could do a hashtag on, or that we could look one up? Because I want to talk to you about those. You guys hear hashtag quite a bit. Well, let me show you kind of how you can use it on a practical level. Yeah, World Cup is the championship game tonight, Kirk? It's Women's World Cup, right? U.S. Japan, I guess. Oh, July 5th. Oh, so it's in a few days. Oh yeah, they just beat England the other night. So if you wanted to see what was going on, you could probably come in here and just do like a, put in a hashtag, which is the little number sign, and you could put in World Cup 2015. See how it gives you all these suggestions, and you can see what everybody's talking about. So I could come in here and just hit World Cup 2015, and what Twitter's going to do is it's going to bring up all the discussions that's going on with World Cup 2015, right? And you'll notice in all of these individual tweets here, you're going to see the hashtag World Cup 2015 on each one on an individual basis, right? Which is why they're showing up. So, I mean, in theory, if I went on right now, and I could, well, let's just do it for fun, okay? I'll get onto my account, and I'll type in, I can't wait for the big game coming up this weekend, and then I can put my number symbol, right? My hashtag World Cup 2015, right? Go USA. So if I tweet this right now, right, and I could, in fact, I'll just do it. Let me hit tweet. There we go. I just sent that into the wide world of Twitter. And if I search for this hashtag, I can even click on the link. I'll probably be in this list somewhere, although it might be such a popular hashtag, I may not show up. I don't see myself here. Oh, I have to go over here to, yeah, it's probably too popular of a hashtag. But anyway, that hashtag essentially, there you go, 18 new results. Maybe I'm here. There I am, right there. See, 35 seconds ago, and my tweet is listed here. So you can kind of see the power of writing a hashtag. A hashtag basically is like the subject of your tweet that you put out. Okay, so I put out World Cup 2015, and that way anybody else who's interested in sort of joining that conversation or seeing what other people have to say about it, they can do a hashtag. They can put in the topic, and then they'll show up here in the news feed somewhere, right? So, that's why people do it. I mean, you can see the different kinds of hashtags that are out here. Anyway, and then if you're going to say, if you're going to tweet at somebody, okay. So if I want to get somebody's attention in a tweet, I'll give you a good example of this. And yes, Vince, in your case, so Vince, if you're talking about a product, like let's say you're running a special on one of your betting sets. Yeah, you might send out a tweet for the business that says, huge blowout sale. We're running 45% off all orders. Hashtag duvet covers. Hashtag betting. Okay. That way, if somebody was looking in Twitter for betting or something, that they could, in theory, find you. Now, I don't know how practical that would be, but that's what you would do for sure. Yeah. And then you would want to leave a link here too to your website, right? xyz.com. Put your link in there, and then you can send it out to the world. Now, the only people that are going to see that tweet that you just issued there are your followers, right? Potentially your 424 followers, or somebody who just kind of randomly finds your random tweet in Twitter. So as you get started, like on your own personal or business account, you're not. I always compare it to like screaming in a big giant empty cave. Nobody's really going to hear you. You're going to be yelling. You're going to be tweeting and saying things. Unless you have followers, nobody's going to see it. But if you're smart with your hashtags, right, and you do some smart hashtags and people find you via a hashtag, you'll start to get found. But you guys got to remember something about Twitter. Like, it's meant to be a social instrument, okay? I'll give you a good example of that. So this morning, just as an example, let me see if I can find it. Somebody in my news feed, and I'm gonna see if I can find him here. This guy right here. So this guy's name is Dr. Pete. Okay. So if I click on Dr. Pete, I'll show you who this guy is. He's one of the main guys that works over at Moz. I think he works on some of their software. I'm not sure his exact position over there. Moz, the big search engine optimization company. Anyways, very popular, right? I mean, look at this guy. He's got 31,500 followers, tweets all the time, right? Yeah, pretty well known in the search engine optimization space. Anyway, he sent out a tweet earlier today that was where is it? Let me see if I can find it for you. Right here. So I'll just read this to you. I saw this in my news feed earlier. He says, quick plug, the Endless apps for iPhone and iPad, Endless ABCs, numbers, wordplay. Do any of you guys know those, by the way? The Endless ones, the ones that have the little cartoon characters that help your kids learn letters and numbers and stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them. They're actually really good. If you've got kids, you should use them. But anyway, actually, I can show you what they look like. These little guys right here. Anyway, I guess it's done by this Originator Kids company, but fabulous app. If you've got kids, you can get a free version, and they're really cool. Anyway, he actually sent something out about that. He says huge benefits for both of our kids. Well, I saw that in my news feed, right? And I said exactly, and I don't even feel like a bad parent either. They learn a lot. Great app. Wish I had the full version. That's what I sent back to him. So I put in order to send him a direct message, I put a little @ symbol next to his username, his Twitter handle, which is Dr._Pete. And what that did is that sent him a message on Twitter that he was notified about, in other words. So he kind of got notified that I sent him, or at least mentioned his name in this message, and then he went on to respond back, and we had this short little conversation about this app, right? Now, no big deal, right? It was just for fun, but it illustrates kind of an interesting point. Like I could never get this guy to ever respond to me if I would have emailed him something, right? You know, I could have tried to find his email or connect to him with some other social network, but I probably could have never actually connected with him. Twitter's really interesting because he got notified right when I sent that message, and we just had this short little conversation about this app, and then that was it. And that's why I think a lot of people use and like Twitter, because it's very personal. It's very social. I mean, you can tweet at very famous people and actually have a chance of them responding back to you. You know what I mean? There's no other forum in the world for something like that. A good friend of mine who's a big golf fan, he just went to whatever I can't remember what the tournament was just this past weekend. It was like the Travelers tournament or something. Does anybody know? I can't remember. Anyway, it was up kind of in the Northeast somewhere, and he follows a bunch of these famous golfers on Twitter, and so he was corresponding with them through Twitter, and they were actually responding back to him, right? And that not to say that happens all the time, but I'm just saying Twitter's probably the only forum in the world where you could probably have that kind of a direct conversation with somebody who's quite a bit more famous than you, which is probably in part why so many people like to use it, right? So anyway, it's just I'd say that's one of the more unique parts of it, and it's a lot of fun for you, if you can do that with things that you're interested in, and that's again why people like to use it. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, Kirk. You said the same thing. I do think it's cool that Twitter, you have the opportunity to converse with someone very famous or powerful in the world. And it's true. It's very true. And you'll notice what I did here, guys. Notice how I said, wish I had the full version. I just have the trial versions of this app that I really like for my kids. I have a personal rule. I try not to spend money on apps. You know what I mean? There's so many good free ones out there. I try not to spend money on them. Anyway, I just said, wish I had the full version. And then you see how I put @Originator Kids? That notified the company that owns the app, right? So they were notified about this little conversation, and whoever manages their Twitter account probably saw that. I did that maybe in hopes that they would send me a message and be like, hey, here's a discount code. You can get it for free. You know what I mean? I never got that, but that could have happened, and they were probably notified and maybe even read through that little thread discussion there that I had with this Dr. Pete guy. Okay. So it's just, guys, it's kind of interesting. I mean, everybody has their own reason for using it. I'm really, really interested in having all of you guys try it for yourself. Like, get a personal account, follow some things that you're interested in, and then get on and actually be social. If you see something in your news feed that looks interesting to you, you can comment on it, right? So let's find something real quick to do an example with. I want to do something that I actually mean. See if I can find something short to comment on without having to go in and like read an article, because I know we don't have time for that. Oh, I don't know. I should just pick something, huh? Oh, well, you get the point. I won't do it. If I wanted to, I guess I could come in here. Here's the little icon right here to reply. So Market Watch, if I want to correspond with them, I could reply here and click on it, and it would automatically put out their name @Market Watch, and then I could respond to their tweet here. I could say something like, "Oh yeah, the job market is a lot worse than I think we even know," right? Whatever. And then Market Watch would see that and then may potentially respond back to me, and I could have sort of a social conversation with them about that. Okay. Now you may look at this after having this short little training on this and think, I still don't really get it, right? Why would I use it? Well, get on it. Just do exactly what I'm saying here. Go create an account for yourself, a personal account. Okay. We'll talk about this more from a business standpoint in subsequent weeks. But from a personal standpoint, here's really the key. Number one, create your account. Number two, I just call it find your people. Go out and find people that you resonate with, that you associate with, that you're interested in. It could be celebrities, it could be athletes, it could be news agencies, it could be whatever. I mean, you can even come up here and search, right? And search Twitter for people and things to follow. It could be local restaurants, whatever the case may be. Follow a bunch of those and then hop on there, once a day for the next week or so and just try it. And if for no other reason, do this for me, even if you don't stick with it and use it often. I certainly don't. I use it just every once in a while. But do it just so that you guys know kind of what it's like to be someone who's out there on Twitter. Because as I said earlier, there's over 300 million of these people out there that actively use it. If you can relate and understand why and how they're using it, I promise you when you get in and you start using it for your business, you're going to be able to understand the advertising side much easier because you'll get what it's like to be just a normal Twitter user. And that's really my goal for you guys. So I don't think I'll show you anything else. There's a couple of other things that we could go over. You can direct message people. You can, if you find somebody else's profile, like this guy right here. I'm not sure who this guy is, Michael Kitchen. But I could follow him and then I could send him a direct message. I may even be able to send him a direct message here. No, I can't, but here's a little icon, tweet to @KitchenNews. So if I clicked on that, there we go, I get a little box and then I could send him a message, right? The reason why I don't know who this guy is because MarketWatch, somebody I follow, retweeted something that he said, which means they essentially rebroadcast something from somebody else. That's more Twitter jargon that you'll learn, how to retweet something. So if there's something that you really like and you want to just simply repeat, you can retweet, and that's what this little icon right here is for. You've got your notifications up here at the top. Doreen, I guess you followed me. See, there you go. So Doreen and some others probably hopped on and followed me. I've had 5 followers in the last, 20 minutes or whatever, right? So this is your notification section. This will just notify you whenever somebody says something to you. This person here, Sunny, tweeted to me earlier today, 56 minutes ago. So that way I can know whenever I'm being tweeted at. Anyway, so there you go. There's your Twitter 101, guys. Get on here and use it. Seriously, if you don't want to use it, do it anyway. Just at least if you'll do an experiment with me for a week and try it and use it and try to find the reason why it might be valuable to you. When we meet next week, we're going to talk more about it, maybe from a personal level, but I kind of want to bring this full circle into why you're going to want to use it for the business, right? Because that's ultimately why we're all here. It's fun to learn something new. And now you guys who never have used Twitter can say you've got a Twitter account and you know how to use it, right? But let's use it to figure out how to make money and promote our business. And there's some really powerful opportunities here that I want to share with you guys. So I think it's good for most businesses, and all of your guys' businesses. As I look down through the names here of people that I know you can benefit from it. There'll be reasons for you to use it. And Facebook and all the other social media accounts that you'll be using. So anyway, before we finish up though, guys, are there any just general questions about Twitter, the whys or the hows? I'd love to answer a few things before we get finished up. Oh, and don't worry about it. Yeah, Kim, don't worry about it. That's fine. You'll be able to catch this recorded, and as always, guys, we'll have this posted recorded here shortly. Hopefully by later tonight, if you feel like you need to get back in here and review kind of what we did. See, there we go, Giselle, Angela. See, there you go. I'm building up my followers left and right here. Those notifications pop up whenever I get a new follow or a mention, right? How do you add a photo? It's actually pretty easy, Robert. So if this is my tweet that I'm doing up here right now, And I would advise you to add photos often just to keep your tweets a little more interesting. You just click this button right here, add photo, just right underneath your box to write in your message. You click on that, and then you can just upload a photo that you find. Right? Here's a photo. I double click on it. It brings in the photo right there. It looks really small, but it'll appear much larger or much larger when I tweet it out. Any other just general questions? Truthfully, who here is just not convinced that they'll like this at all? And I won't I won't judge you, I promise. But after seeing this, who here is just like, I still don't get it? And that's seriously, that's fine if that's you. Yeah, you're feeling a little like that, Shirley. It's fine. I would encourage you still to just try it. Create your own account and just try it and use it for a little bit. A lot of you guys are going to get on and use it and not really get it, but it's going to foster a really good conversation for our next few webinars. And you know, if I can teach you to use it on a personal level, again, I really hang my hat on this. We'll be able to teach you much better to use it from a business standpoint. You got to be a user first. And believe it or not, Ruth, some of you guys that are like, I don't know if I like it or if I want to, you know, you might not. And you might get done with this and be like, that was such a waste. I don't even get it. Anyway. But you might walk away being like, oh, this is really cool. I'll use this, right? Like there's some really practical uses. I follow local restaurants so that if they're running a really sweet lunch special or something, I can head over and grab it on the cheap. Maybe they send out a coupon code or whatever. There's a lot of different things that can happen from a practical standpoint. You can get your news off of Twitter pretty easily. That way you're not hopping onto all the different news sites every day. You just follow a few news agencies and then boom, log into Twitter and you can be informed about what's going on in the world. Lots of uses. You just got to find out why it might be useful to you. Okay? Okay. All right. Yeah, I saw that, Bobby. If you've got questions, go ahead and type them in. Good. Okay, everybody. Well, I'll have a safe 4th and a happy 4th. I will see you guys next week. Come ready. Your homework is get your Twitter account and use it, and then we'll all talk about it next week. And that goes for you guys that have business accounts already. Go set up a personal one. Use it on a personal level. Okay? All right. Thanks, everybody. You guys have fun. I will see you guys all next week for sure. Thanks again.